Good morning and welcome to Waking Up with Don. Today I have a very special guest. I have a former Air Force officer, physician's assistant, combat veteran, and what else am I leaving out, Jennifer? Oh yeah, published author, lest we forget, Jennifer Clark. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
You've got
me.
this book that's called 166 Days. Can we get a shot of 166 Days? 166 days apparently was the length of your deployment to Afghanistan. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And could you tell us about your deployment? Is this what the book is about?
Yes, sir, it is. It's basically, my deployment was 166 days, and I was attached to a team of Green Berets as part of what was called a female treatment team. And it was myself as a female provider, and I had a female medic with me, and we augmented this team.
A female treatment team. Because in that world, only females can treat females?
Correct.
So
correct.
a male physician cannot work on a female Afghan woman?
Right. So the purpose of us being attached to this team was kind of to be a presence for the women and warm the hearts and minds, and be able to provide medical care to, you know, a very underserved population of people. And so we also learned how to gather intelligence by talking with the women and the men that we treated there at the clinic. And so, you know, we were able to provide a lot of information to the team when they went out on missions, and we also had the opportunity to take care of our guys as well.
Yeah,
so.
and you were with Green Berets
Yes.
out there in the field?
Yes, I was.
Now, where can you say where exactly in Afghanistan you were?
Yeah, I was in the Uruzgan province, and they ended up sending us to the most violent fire base in Afghanistan at the time. And so it was a very unique experience. You know, a fire base was getting attacked.
So you saw a lot of traumatic injuries or
Yes.
combat-related injuries, I'm sure.
Yes, we did. We were attacked almost every day, and the locals around us, it was actually an area that used to be a Taliban stronghold that we took over in 2002. And so if we were to look out into the valley, every single village surrounding us was Taliban friendly with the exception of one.
Wow.
And so we never knew who we were treating, you know, whether they were Taliban or, you know, people that were supporters of us. So
If they were hurt, you guys helped
we took
them.
care of them, absolutely.
And you tended to the women.
Yes.
And did you see a lot of combat injuries on women there?
Unfortunately, yes, I did. It was a very violent area that I was in, and so we saw a lot of wounds from combat, gunshot wounds and RPGs, and a lot of trauma.
I noticed, you know, on the cover of your book, you've got several Afghan women there, and I guess they were patients of yours.
Yes, sir.
You know, in this country at least, they are portrayed as objects of pity. Was that the impression you got of them? Do you feel sorry for them, I guess is my question.
Very much so.
Yeah.
You know, the women that I encountered just had very unfortunate circumstances. A lot of times they were very young girls, 14 years and younger, married to very old men, and they didn't have a voice. They didn't have an education. I did encounter one lady who actually spoke English, and she had been going to a school in Kandahar, and that was just incredible. But other than that, the women were very underserved, and
So they're almost like cattle or possessions?
yeah, they were
yeah.
very much thought of as possessions, and a lot of the mentality was they were for procreation only. And every once in a while I would come across a father of a little girl who actually did show love and affection to her, or a husband that really did, you know, appear to love his wife, but the majority of the time that was not the case.
They were just things that you own, just
Yes.
like you'd own anything else. How has that affected you? How's that affected your life? I mean, this whole experience has got, I would imagine it would be a life-changing experience for most people.
Absolutely. It puts so much into perspective with what we have in the United States, from healthcare to just our freedom, the benefits that we have, the freedom that we have as women, and our tolerance as a culture is just phenomenal, the opportunities that we have. It changed my life forever. I tell everybody, some of the best moments of my military career and the worst of my life, but it's definitely made me a better person for having been through it.
You know, my mother said that, my mother's in her 80s now, And she says the most memorable times of her life was when she was the busiest and the most stressed out. So perhaps that might be a time for you like that, right?
I will never forget that experience, and I'm so thankful that I kept the journal, which has turned into the book. You know, my intention of that was to be able to share that story with my children someday, and it's just certainly turned into so much more.
So it really is, I guess, a war on women out there. I mean, that's the real war on women.
Yeah.
You know, in the Middle East that we don't hear so much about anymore for some reason.
Very true. Yeah.
We have to run off to a break, but on the other side of that, I want to drill down into that a little more and maybe get your opinion on that.
Sure. Sure.
Welcome back. I'm speaking with Jennifer Clark, and we're talking about her new book, 166 Days, which came from a journal that she kept when she was on a combat tour in Afghanistan as a physician's assistant treating Afghan women. What do you see as the future of Afghanistan and the women there? I mean, your experience, you painted a pretty bleak picture to me that they're kind of a hopeless lot, the women there.
Well, you know, I think it depends on the region. One of the things that I did talk about in the book was the exposure that I had to some of the people that had been there time and time again, and they've really seen the differences that we have made. You know, building schools for women only and allowing them to have an education with just, you know, several years before they had no education. And so you look in the bigger providences and cities and you do see that, you know, women are given more of a chance. But there are a lot of regions there that are very much like what I experienced, where the women are just not regarded very highly. And, you know, I met an interpreter that was actually born and raised in Afghanistan, and she left right before the whole Soviet thing went down and moved to America. And she showed me pictures of her growing up, and she went to school and she played sports, and she got out of school and was a professional woman before the Taliban hit. And it was just devastating to hear her story, you know, coming from the old Afghanistan into what it has become. And
so it hasn't always been so repressive. They're going through a dark ages in Afghanistan because of the Taliban.
Very much so, yes. It's, you know, she told me it used to be a vacation destination back in the, you know, 60s and 70s. And so can't imagine what that must have been like for her to have grown up in a place that was, you know, welcoming and encouraging of women to have to come back as an interpreter, you know, during such a horrible time and see what she's had to go through on the other side of that. So.
It really is sad to think that they were once this open, semi-open society and welcoming of women, and now they've gone to this dark ages. Do you think the pendulum will ever swing back? Will there be an open society again, or are the Taliban too entrenched? And is it a lost cause for women in Afghanistan?
You know, I am a very optimistic person, and so my answer to that is I certainly hope so. Some of the people that I met there were absolutely incredible, both men and women. And, you know, the common misperception I think that we have is if every Afghanistan person is evil, and that's not the case. There were some beautiful people there, and that were very much supportive of what we did. And so I hope that those people will continue to multiply and surface and spread the message that we're trying so hard to spread of, you know, a free society and valuing each and every citizen equally. And so I certainly hope so.
So it's really not militarily that we have to win there, or anybody wins. It's culturally, we have to help them get through this cultural shift.
Yes.
Or is that even our role? I mean, is it something they have to do on their own?
I think that, I think with anything, you personally have to want to make a change before you can make a change. You know, it's just like with patients, I tell, you know, to quit smoking. I can prescribe them medication after medication to quit smoking, but they have to want to do it in order to make that change. And I think that goes for anybody, society as a whole. We have to want to make that change. And I think that people become open to change when they have that desire to make it. And when that happens, America and coalition forces are going to be much more effective.
Jennifer, how can I get your book? Besides getting my personal autographed copy that you so graciously brought with you, how does someone get your book?
It's on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. I also have them on my website, which is backtocenterwellness.com, and I'm hoping to push them out as much as possible. Here locally, I'm going to be setting up some book signings, and so stay tuned for that. I'll be kind of releasing updates for that on my website as well, which is backtocenterwellness.com.
We're running short on time, but I have to ask you a loaded question. Do you consider yourself a feminist? Or is that just too much of a label to deal with?
I think it's too much of a label, to be honest, because I think everybody has a different definition for it. I think if you ask me how I feel about women, myself, I'm a very independent woman who has been through and seen a lot, and I think that the female spirit is just amazing, and I think that women have a tremendous impact in our society, as do men. I think that we all have a very important role to play.
Yeah, and I guess that's in every country, not just here in the U.S.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jennifer Clark, physician's assistant, Air Force officer, mom, combat veteran, published author. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, and good luck with the publication. I hope you come back and give us an update on how the book is doing.
Absolutely, I'd be honored, and thank you so much for having me.
It's been an honor having you on. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back. I'm here with Jennifer Jones from the Bay Arts Alliance. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, now, Bay Arts Alliance, for people who may have been living under a rock, what is the Bay Arts Alliance?
We're a nonprofit cultural agency designated by the state of Florida and Bay County as the local arts agency to provide opportunities for cultural enrichment, to promote cultural activities in the community, and also our mission is to help promote a lifelong appreciation of the arts. So we do programming for students, preschoolers, up through 5th grade, and then we have other partnership projects with higher grade levels in the community.
So there's a lot going on, apparently, and you kind of have your finger on the pulse of the cultural scene here in Bay County, I suppose?
I'd like to think so, but there's always something going on that kind of, sneaks up, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was happening, and how do we get the word out about that? So, but we have a pretty good idea of what's going on most of the time. But if you come to our website, then you can kind of go from
what's
there.
What's the website?
It's bayarts.org, and there's links to all the other arts groups in town, and so you can kind of navigate your way through the community. But we try to put as much information together as we can that we can gather.
Now, your office is located in the Civic Center, right?
It is. We do manage that facility for the city of Panama City.
So a lot of people associate, culture and the arts in Bay County with just the Civic Center, whatever's going on down there. But there's much more to it, right?
There is, and also they also associate whatever's going on at the Civic Center with Bay Arts Alliance, and it's a public building. It's available for rent, so a lot of people will come in and rent the facility and present their own shows.
I know. So can you give us an update of what's going on around town and maybe what's coming up at the Civic Center? We're in the new year. It's 2014. Springtime is around the corner. I know you probably have your schedule for 2014 laid out, or at least a good portion of it.
We've got it at the Civic Center. We've got what I know of right now up through April, I believe it is. And I brought a cheat sheet because I can't remember everything. But by the time,
feel free to use your cheat sheet. We're all about cheating here. Yeah.
I don't know when this is going to air, but I'll start like mid-January. Still, Engelbert Humperdinck will be here on the 15th, and then
Engelbert Humperdinck, who, by the way, pretty much invented the pork chop sideburn.
I've got to go see this show. I mean, it's I'm there during the day. I've got to stay late that day and watch that show.
And I understand that he was probably one of the first people to top Elvis on the charts before the Beatles came through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done my research on that. That's a Hess promotion show. That's Mark Hess is a promoter here in town. He has a series of his own that he presents concerts, mostly at the Civic Center. I think he'll probably do some at Ebro as well.
Yeah.
Now, just before that, Garrison Keeler will have been here on the 13th, which is part of the Bay Arts series that we're excited about. He'll be doing a book signing afterward. He's kind of like the Mark Twain of today. Did Prairie Home Companion for National Public Radio, so he'll be here. And then January 19th, In the Mood. It's like a 1940s, you know, swing era big band review.
Yeah, I love big band stuff.
If you like that music, I don't know about Room to Dance, but you know, maybe you can go after the show's over. You can go over to the Dance Life on Harrison Avenue and dance there. They're dancing all the time, which is another cultural facility. Then we have the Panama City Pops has their series at the Civic Center, and they'll be having the Battle of the Batons, which even if people don't subscribe to their entire pop series every year, they all want to come to the Battle of the Batons because it's local celebrities.
It's like Battle of the Bands type deal?
Well, but it's local personalities that you know that we have to get up and conduct the orchestra, and the audience votes on who the best conductor was. And it will be radio personalities, elected officials. It's a lot of fun to watch them get up there and try to conduct an orchestra.
Sounds like a good get ugly. We have to run off to a break.
Yeah.
We'll see you right after these messages. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. I'm speaking with Jennifer Jones from the Bay Arts Alliance. Jennifer, what's coming up?
Okay, yeah, there's a lot coming up, so I'm going to rush through the rest of this list. As we talked about the Pops earlier, there's a modern dance group called River North Dance Chicago in February. Blue Man Group is February 9th.
Blue Man Group.
It's not quite sold out, but it is getting close. So if you want tickets, you need to go ahead and get it.
I've never seen them. I've heard about them. Dying to see them.
Yeah, I've never seen them either, but I think I'm going to be really happy. Beauty and the Beast, Mosley High School is going to do Beauty and the Beast on February 27th and 28th. And then in March, we've got the Hitmen, which is a singing group presented by the Panama City Music Association. And honestly, it's Frankie Valli and the Four Tops. That's the kind of music that you're going to hear there. 38 Specials coming.
Wow.
And March on the 8th. Bill Cosby's on the 15th. Memphis the Musical is on the 17th. Pops will have another concert at the end of March on the 22nd. And then there is a tour of a gospel group on April 30th, Crowder Neon Staple Tour. And then the Panama City Pops will end their season in May on the 3rd. Then we get into graduations and recitals and that sort of stuff.
So you just brought us right up to May. I mean, so we're kind of up to date now.
Yeah.
Is there any one thing in there that that appeals to you personally that you'd like to do or see?
Well, everything that Bay Arts is presenting appeals to me
because
I want to see them succeed. Well, and there's a lot of ways to count success. I mean, you have the show and they get out of town and nobody gets hurt. That's one way you can be grateful for it. The audience loves it, and it's a box office success. Then that's just icing on the cake because we want to make sure it happens here, and then after that we start counting the other ways to, call it a success.
What about these ukulele lessons I've been hearing about?
Yeah, I wanted to get through that so I could tell you. Because live music is interesting, and there's various genres and forms and has different audiences that support it. And we're working to make sure that people are, attending live entertainment things. And there is a ukulele class in St. Andrews on Sundays once a month. The next one will be January the 19th. And it's at the Little Village. And they have extra ukuleles. They have extra books. It's the easiest stringed instrument to learn how to play if you've never played one before.
The Little Village.
Yes, in St. Andrews, just off of Beck Avenue, kind of right across from the shrimp boat, if you just come turn the other way. And there's like 20, 22 students in the class every time. This will be the 3rd class. There's about 4 teachers. They make it really easy, and you don't have to own a ukulele. They've got those for you.
So 22 ukuleles all going at once.
Yeah, and then all tuning at once. The teachers will get up and perform for the class so that you can actually hear somebody do it well before we leave.
So not only you running the Bay Arts Alliance or helping to administer that, but you are a professional ukulele player now.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm working
ukulele,
on
student of ukulele.
Yes, dream a little dream
resume.
of me. That's the one I'm going to master and perform in front of everybody. It's got awesome chords.
You're going to have to come back and play that for us on the show.
Okay, I will do that when I'm a virtuoso.
Jennifer Jones, thank you so much for coming on to the show and giving us the update from the Marina Civic Center. And welcome back. We're going to get more of the musical stylings of, what's your name? Shamola is the name of your little group there. Nick and Josh, what song are you going to play now?
We're going to play a little song called Dirty 30, an ode to our company at the Naval Academy, best one there.
30th company.
We just want to make a little shout out to everyone out there. Drive us crazy sometimes, but we love them all.
All right, awesome. Let's hear Dirty 30. All right. Great job, guys. Let's hear it for the Dirty 30.